Welcome to Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority, regular meeting agenda for Wednesday, October 2nd, 2019 at 6:30. Call to order, roll call.
Mayor Hodge,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Romero is absent. Councilmember Arriola Fernandez,
Here.
Councilmember Risen, here. Councilmember Pacheco, here. We have a quorum, Mayor.
All right, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll lead you. Hand over heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain now the pledge. Oops. Can we take care of it? Here we go. Mr. Dale, will you do us the honor?
Of course, we know this by heart already, right?
Yeah.
The mission statement. Together, we pledge to provide effective and efficient services in a courteous and respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique border community. Viva Calexico!
Remain standing. Today for the invocation is Pastor Frank Sasueta from Christ Community Church. Thank you, Pastor.
Let's ask the Lord's blessing upon this meeting this evening. Father in heaven, first of all, God, as a city and government of Calexico, the city of Calexico, God, we stand, God, in agreement in a declaration, God, acknowledging who you are. God, you are the creator of heaven and earth. You are the creator of life itself. And God, to that we give you praise, God, and we would ask your presence here tonight. God, for those that would need wisdom from above, God, your word declares that if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask. God, so as a city, Lord God, we are asking for wisdom from above. And God, as we continue in this meeting tonight, may you be glorified in everything that's discussed. And God, may the presence of Jesus be in this place. And God, it is in his name that we ask this. Amen.
Amen. Be seated. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. We did not have a closed session, so there are no announcements. So we'll move straight to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion? Second. Second. Very good. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Now, City Clerk, be kind enough to do the announcements.
These proceedings may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexico.ca.gov the Friday following the City Council meeting. Mayor Hodge will have community hours to hear the concerns of the citizens the fourth Tuesday of the month from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at City Hall in the City Manager's Conference Room, 608 Heber Avenue, Calexico.
Okay, thank you. We have some presentations, but one is not going to present today, and that is the Economic Development and Financial Advisory Commission. That will be coming at a later date. So the first one, we're going to go in the order, right?
Push it back for next month.
Do you want to do some others this year? Yeah, let's do her list. Okay, we're going to rearrange this. If somebody's not here that we need for a presentation, we hope that she will come. So we have a presentation, Public Works Manager on Adopt a Green Area Program. Would you be ready now to come forward? Thank you. Liana?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight, I will be doing a brief presentation regarding our Adopt a Green Area program. The purpose of the Adopt a Green Area program is a program designed to promote community pride and involvement in maintaining and enforcing our facilities for all to enjoy, which are our green areas, parks, and facilities. Individuals, families, business organizations can take an active role and a hands-on approach in various levels of maintenance of our green areas. Sites and applications are adopted and approved by our Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Senior Service Commission. Right now, we have a list of about 26 green areas, of which 22 have already been adopted. But right now, we're going to do the renewal process because some of the adoptees, their 2-year contract has expired. So what Public Works Department is doing is sending out a notice to the adoptees, letting them know that they need to renew their application. If they desire not to continue with this program, then those parks will be available for other organizations or community or individuals to adopt. Those who can participate are individuals and families. They must be at least 12 years of age, civil, social, sports, schools, or nonprofit organizations, as well as business, contractors, and government agencies. The participation activity that we require for those that would like to adopt a green area is, for example, removal of litter, planting trees, helping us with the shrubbery, with the flowers, graffiti abatement, painting, watering, and also weed control. The participants' commitment, we require that they have at least one activity per month. As I mentioned before, the application process and adoption is formally for a 2-year program. Also, they would need to, if they're going to do some type of event or activity of cleanup, they would need to notify the Public Works Department 7 days in advance. And also, you know, we exercise the safety practice of doing the cleanup. On behalf of the city, our commitment to them is if they need to have safety equipment, we'll go ahead and loan them that. Also, we can provide them plastic bags. If we are notified, we can go pick up the trash that they collect. We can also, if they want to plant, for example, plants, they would need to contact us, and then that way we can make sure that the plants that they want to plant are appropriate and they're in the location appropriate for like the irrigation system. Also in return, we'll go ahead and thank them by putting a signage that says that this park has been adopted by, and we'll go ahead and put either the applicant's name or if they desire to name the park after somebody during that 2-year period in memory of. Insurance requirement. The city does not provide insurance coverage for those participants, so we do ask that the adoptees provide the city with an annual certificate of liability, naming the city as additional insured, and it must not be less than $1 million per event or activity. Like I mentioned before, safety is our #1 concern, so we do ask that the applicants or adoptees take all the necessary safety measures at all times. They must attend and participate in a safety orientation meeting that is done by staff, as well as sign the City of Calexico release and hold harmless agreement. And also, if the adoptee is out there cleaning and finds any type of hazardous material, they are required to give us a call as soon as possible so we can take care of that. The application can be, if somebody is interested, the application can be picked up at our Public Works yard. Our address is 549 Pierce Avenue, or also the application is available on our city website. that's about it. If you have
That's
any
it.
questions.
Very good, thank you. Can you approach? Did you put in a slip there, Mr. Gonzalez? Okay,
Not for this.
My name is Javier Gonzalez. I was the past recreation director. We started this program. It actually started at Kennedy Gardens. We passed it along to the city in 2003. First of all, my hats off to Liliana. It's not an easy task, especially me criticizing everything, but it's very good. One of the things that I just want to heads up is, one of the things is the names. They stay there forever. When an adoptee, it's over, they should have someone that says available, somebody else. And the insurance, I mean, a day insurance for an event is $248. Imagine, I mean, nonprofits, businesses, Santo Tomas like us, we've been adopting parks since the beginning. But we're not going to pay that. A year of nonprofit. This program came out of the Caltrans. Caltrans doesn't require insurance just to sign a waiver. I'm not going to. I still have my name up there. I've been adopting since 2003. I'm not going to pay $248 a day, an event. That's what the event permit comes. It's too much for us. I think that for families and individuals, it's going to be impossible. Thank you very much.
thank
Good
you
job.
for your remarks, Mr. Gonzalez. Oh, okay, any questions, City Council?
Any issue with broken glasses and people getting injured and them
Nah.
themselves taking care of their own?
Not injured, but lately we have receiving in several parks where they have found syringes. So we immediately go and contact the police department regarding that.
Florida Parks.
Okay,
Yes. All right.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one should be, don't see her in the audience, but presentation by Esperanza Golio Warren, Imperial County Deputy CEO on the Census 2020. Are you here, Esperanza? No. Okay. So from 4 presentations, we've gone down to 2. And because of unexpected circumstances, the next presentation is about Sandra Toller, but unfortunately, she's not able to be here. But we want to give her this nice plaque as soon as possible. So I wrote out a little something about her, and if you'll permit me, I'd like to read it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at this moment to honor the accomplishments and bless Sandra Toller in her retirement. Sandra Toller, if you know her, and I feel most people do, has worked for the city for 33 years as an exceptional employee and asset to the city and community. No one can match her tireless dedication and energy towards her job as community service director. She has worn many hats. She oversaw the library services, parks and recreation, community center, senior citizens, the Carmen Durazo Cultural Arts Center, farmers market. So she has been an exceptional employee, very well organized and result oriented. She got a lot of things done. So we will miss her after 33 years of being here with the city. We will miss her dearly. So unfortunately, she's not here, but here is this beautiful plaque. It's heavy, but I've been working out. Okay? Yes, give her a hand. And if you see her, thank her for her services. With gratitude and in special recognition of your contributions to the city of Calexico with 33 years of service, September 26, 2019 is when it was made. So we're going to get that to her, and she will appreciate that immensely. That concludes our presentations. So we're going to move on to public comments. But before we do, I feel that it's necessary that I speak to you, point certain things out. In a democracy, the public has a right during city council public comments to give constructive criticism in a civil and appropriate manner. You have a right to criticize the city council and administration on performance and accountability, accompanied with facts and evidence. What is not right is to make personal, slanderous remarks and attack by defamation of character. I will use the gavel to silence you if you call council members or staff and administration, and I'm going to be specific, words like liars, corrupt, cowards, useless, or any other demeaning words, or the use of profanity. I will stop you if you make serious allegations, especially without proof about the council or administration. For example, and this is specific, taking drugs or involving in illicit sexual activity or taking bribes. You will be asked to stop talking and asked to sit down. If you refuse to comply, you will be escorted out of the chamber, because we are here to conduct city business and not to be subject to a hostile environment. Yelling, shouting, attacking, using profanity has no place in the city council, ladies and gentlemen. We all must be civilized. If you begin to attack personally, yell, become physically belligerent, you will lose your right to speak. So say you start your public comments and you begin slanderous remarks. This time I will ask you, you've lost your right to continue speaking and you need to sit down. I will not allow any intimidating theatrics. Council members, that's for us, do not engage with the citizens during public comments. Council, you may retort, clarify, or respond during your city council comments. And at that time, citizens, when we're speaking during council comments, you have no right to intervene. Refrain from speaking to the council. And council, do not make personal comments by name or attacks to the audience members. Decorum, time, and rules must be respected. Citizens, you have 3 minutes to say your piece, and you cannot talk out loud or address the city council from the audience. That's not right. He doesn't know what he's talking about. No. Please fill out your public comment form and submit it before the city council commences. Last-minute entries may not be accepted. Being loud and physically belligerent, trying to smear a councilman or administration's reputation or character, trying to divide the council or bring down morale will no longer be tolerated. We are here to conduct the city council meetings with proper decorum, to get business done in a respectful manner. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So thank you for your attention on that. So now we may commence with public comment. City Clerk, would you like to read that?
This is the time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you when you come to the microphone. Please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is on consent item, please comment now. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to that item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council.
Mr. Mayor, if you allow me,
Yes,
also
go
want
right
to
ahead.
restate one of the comments City Clerk just read. That's read in every council meeting. It says, while members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal slanderous remarks. Just want to highlight that while the Brown Act does allow opportunities for comments, criticisms, it also doesn't protect slanderous or defamatory statements. At the same time, too, while the First Amendment of the Constitutional protection to free speech, it also doesn't protect slanderous or defamatory statements. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. Okay, so any public comments?
Ben Horton.
Ben Horton, longtime resident of Calexico. Distinguished members of the City Council, staff, Mr. Mayor, and members of the community, both business and residents. The reason I come up here today, and first off I want to say, Calexico is a general law city, not a chartered city. With that, I shall move forward with what I'm going to bring forward. Before the City Council, you have some information, and I'm doing this as myself, not to say that I'm using economic financial advisory to move my own agenda. This is Ben Horton. Before you, you have what I consider items to bring and put on the agenda of the economic financial advisory. I won't go into all of it because it would take up the amount of time that I have. One of the things that I noticed from our last meeting in reference to the audit, we had findings. And the findings were not given to the City Council. I feel that that is a very concerned item. I think the City Council has a right to know what the findings were in the audit. I took the liberty to call Sacramento to inquire about the CBG fund grants. This is the community block grants. And there was certain paperwork that wasn't sent in. And I don't know, maybe I have a misunderstanding, but we're not scheduled to get anything from the CBG funds. The other thing that I brought forward in this little agenda that I put together is in reference to the grants. We do not know as a commission how many grants that the city is working on what we have. As a commission, we should know that in order to make certain decisions. And we are advisory. We're not here to make decisions. Our job is to do the findings and report them to the City Council. And that would be done by our chairman. He would make a report to the City Council on that.
30 seconds.
Okay. Another thing is that in reference to the bid, what is the economic impact of what the bid has been doing on the downtown businesses? We don't know that. And one of the other things is, in reference to,
Please summarize, Mr. Horton.
okay, we have to look into not have nepotism or cronyism in our decision. We have a city manager. Let him do his job when it comes to staffing.
Your time is up, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Horton. Another public comment?
Javier Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, Javier Gonzalez. I'm here representing Kennedy Gardens Neighborhood Watch, Honorable Mayor, members, council, city council staff, public. What I'm here is because it's October. October is one of the busiest months in activities. April and October, and we usually held, past year, we usually held the health and safety fair at Kennedy Gardens because it's a neighborhood watch community. It's a celebrate safe communities. We didn't celebrate this year, and I'll tell you why, city manager. But we still have time because it's not only crime prevention month. It's Down syndrome month. It's Down syndrome month. It's Arts Awareness Month. It's Red Ribbon. It's fire prevention. All those things, and I don't see a proclamation of anything. I know Sandra was retiring, and it was us that submitted it. Thanks to your wonderful city clerk, she always works with us together. But it's not too late. You have another meeting next 2 weeks. It's October. We at least need to do a proclamation. Our chief told us that when he was going to get appointed, that he was going to restart the neighborhood watch. We're still waiting for that, and that's just why I'm here. It's October and April. It's where the busiest months of the year to do things. Apart from all this that I named, there's more activities in October. I don't know why there's no proclamation, no events. I do want to acknowledge the fire department. The fire department has started a CERT. I'm registered to attend on the 26th. Community Emergency Response Team, and next week they're going to hold it's Fire Prevention Week. They're going to hold their first fire prevention meeting at Alejandro Rivera. Alejandro Rivera is also ready to become a neighborhood watch. And the reason we didn't do an event, the past mayor knows, we submitted last year or this year of April, we submitted a fee waiver, temporary fee waiver, where you should decide. When we came here before you, the next day we received a letter from the city manager saying, we're not going to help you. That's not his decision. That's your decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gonzalez. Further public comments?
Alex Peroni.
Honorable Mayor, Honorable City Council, the City Manager, Assistant City Manager, and Gabby. Mayor, I want to commend you. Okay, 2 months ago, probably a little more, I posted on Facebook the deplorable conditions of our park. And all those tenants that were there with paying no rent and destroying and stealing. Not all of them, because there is, some of them are good people, but most of them. And I've been driving by the park. I drove by before I came to the city council meeting, and I saw families enjoying themselves. So that's what our parks are for. And Mayor, you listened, you responded, the whole city council and staff, so I commend you for it. So I'd like to give you a
Thank you.
Also,
It involved a whole lot of people, especially the police department.
yes, so you led it, you spearheaded, so, and people followed. Also, I want to commend, I'm like the economic development arm of the city. I had some investors, some developers that are investing close to $20 million. And we had them, they had concerns. And I always say that Morris moves like the speed of business. So he was there, Mr. Dale, and the director from the IID, and everything looks like it's being addressed, and it's bringing confidence to investors. So I thank you guys for doing such a good job, Morris, Dave Dale, responding to the necessities, because a lot of times we just hear the negative, and you know, I'm here sometimes talking about the negative, but you know, I call a spade, and you guys are doing good. Last meeting, I heard a lady complaining about the girls at the take the water bills. you know, they're always courteous and polite. They're good girls. So, you know, sometimes, you know, they're probably not responding to people's needs, but there's a saying in Spanish, cada quien cuenta como le fue en la feria. So I've had a good experience. You're doing a good job. Calexico, City of Calexico, I commend you. Keep on moving forward. Don't let, you know, negative feedback, you know, bring you guys down. You're doing good. And when you're doing bad, I'm going to be one of the first ones up here. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Peroni. Public comment?
Chief Gerardo.
Good evening, Honorable City Council, Mr. Mayor, Gabby, everybody in the crowd. I'm here today because I just left an event. I think that's why Ms. Collier Warren wasn't here. The county kicked off National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We had a big event down at the Superior Courthouse in El Centro. That's why I'm wearing purple. Just a quick message for all you, you know, if there's domestic violence, there's a lot of resources out there for you guys through counseling, Women Havens, which is now the Center for Family Solutions. You have Sure Helpline, you have friends, relatives, you have the police. Domestic violence is still happening. You don't understand that. You think your neighborhood's safe, but somebody in your neighborhood might be going through it. Be there for them. It affects the children. We need to stop the cycle by showing our children that domestic violence is not right. So that's the message I got to give you. That's why she wasn't here today, because she stayed behind with the county over there.
We'll have her at another time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Continuing.
Pedro Ortiz.
Buenas tardes, Pedro Ortiz, presidente de la ciudad de Calexico. Pues toma un poco mi tiempo porque yo no vengo a darles aplausos, a lo mejor, como no soy palero, no me va a correr de volada el tiempo a mí. Señores, me di cuenta de lo que traen el proyecto de la Call Road. Me parece muy bien, estoy de acuerdo que traigan nuevas inversiones. Lo que quiero saber es el concilio, si hizo su trabajo. Esta es una pregunta, no es una afirmación, señor Hodge. ¿Se dio cuenta si los empleos que van a ofrecer son de tiempo completo o son parciales para los residentes de Calexico? ¿Se dio cuenta que esa gente tiene dinero? No creo que necesitemos darles la renta gratis, porque tienen dinero, vienen a invertir, están batallando por atención al área verde, pues estos se dedican a ello. ¿Por qué no les piden que aporten también a las áreas verdes de la ciudad de Calexico? ¿Por qué tienen que invitar a los ciudadanos a que sigan dando para el pueblo? ¿Por qué siento que eso fue un bozal lo que acaba de decir usted, señor Hodge? La primera enmienda dice que puedo venir a decir aquí, con respeto obviamente, pero no me tiene por qué poner un bozal. No tiene por qué andarnos a amedrentarnos. Eso fue una amedrentación lo que usted acaba de hacer, a mi punto de vista. Hay ciudadanos de Calexico, señor. Qué lástima, en serio. Me da tristeza que nada más estén presentes aquí porque les están afectando sus intereses. Pero tomen en cuenta que habemos ciudadanos que vamos a estar con ustedes. Pero esperemos que cuando se solucione su problema, sigan ustedes viniendo a apoyar su ciudad. No nada más cuando tengan un problema. Que vengan a ver y interesarse.
Mr. Ortiz.
No cuando tengan un
Señor
problema.
Ortiz,
Les pido por favor.
please address the council.
Sí, señor.
Thank
de
you.
acuerdo.
Thank you.
Otra cosa, a mí me pasó un incidente desde el 8 de diciembre y una de las propuestas que nos hicieron en ese tiempo la administración fue de que iban a arreglar las cuestiones de las licencias y los apoyos. Faltan 4 meses para que vuelva a pagar mi licencia. Y no he escuchado ninguna iniciativa de ustedes, miembros del concilio, para que vayan a dar ese apoyo que tantos nos dijeron. Se han quedado callados, se les va a pasar el tiempo otra vez y nos va a volver a decir, lo vamos a ver después. No, señor, nosotros ya no tenemos un después. Somos pequeños empresarios que necesitamos el apoyo real, no palabras de ustedes. No necesitamos que nos estén diciendo, sí, lo vamos a ver, sí, palabras ya no, ya acciones. Está bien que apoyen a otras gentes, a otros empresarios grandes, que supuestamente dejan mucho dinero, pero la sangre de Calexico somos la gente chica, y ustedes no están tomándonos en cuenta, no nos están dando ningún tipo de apoyo real. Gracias, señores.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Any other public comments?
Amanda Camacho.
Buenas tardes, Amanda es parte del comité del Calexico Parents Athletic League. Buenas tardes, Amanda es parte del programa de Calexico Parents Athletic League. Ahorita trae un problema en la garganta y no puede hablar. Yo estoy aquí pues para hablar por ella. Soy Carmen Estrada, soy fundadora y directora del programa de Calexico Parents Athletic League. La visita que tenemos ahorita para aquí, para ustedes, es primeramente dar gracias. Yo vengo a dar gracias, la verdad, porque teníamos una emergencia con los jóvenes que no podían jugar porque no teníamos el dinero para pagar para que ellos jugaran. Pero se hizo una junta de emergencia, el cual dieron de que sí podían jugar los jóvenes y tuvimos un acuerdo. Gracias, City Manager, gracias, Miguel. Morris, señor Hash, vamos a trabajar esto para ver si en la próxima junta nos aprueban de que definitivamente no les hagamos el pago a la ciudad, porque los jóvenes de 18 a 35 años, que son casi 300 jóvenes, los cuales no den el pago por el uso del campo. Entonces nosotros les traemos la propuesta a la ciudad de que pongamos el cerco, que es muy importante que tenga el cerco Quinti Andrade, porque pues se pueden ocasionar accidentes, así como el Daniel Gutiérrez. Y yo ahorita les traigo, aquí ya está aprobado por la ciudad, el permiso, ya está todo listo, nada más el que ustedes aprueben de que no se nos va a hacer el cobro para que los jóvenes puedan jugar. Y de hecho estamos trabajando también estamos en conjunto con la ciudad, trabajando con el proyecto de los baños. La ciudad va a poner material y nosotros como programa vamos a poner mano de obra. Eso es con constructoras que nos van a dar el tiempo para que esto sea pues más barato y pongamos 2 baños, uno en Adrián Córdoba y otro en Quinti Andrade. Es de la manera que estamos trabajando con la ciudad. La verdad, es primera vez que yo estoy contenta porque sí estamos unidos trabajando. Y pues sí estoy relajada porque la verdad la comunidad necesita mucho de ustedes el apoyo y yo se los voy a dar. Ahorita les voy a dar el 99. Ya para la próxima junta podemos dar el 100. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Estrada.
Nubia Martinez. Nubia.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Nubia Martínez y soy coach de la Liga de Fútbol Soccer de aquí de Calexico y le voy a dejar mis minutos a la señora Carmen Estrada.
Bueno, la organización Calexico Parents Athletic League no nomás es que va a jugar a los campos. Nosotros estamos
Mr. Mayor,
dando,
you can't allocate your time to another, you cannot allocate your time to an additional speaker. You cannot allocate your time to an additional speaker. You have 3 minutes.
She's done her 3 minutes.
If, it's been 3 minutes, Gabby? Yes.
No, she hasn't had her 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
She allocated her time to Mrs. Estrada. The city attorney is saying she can't be allowed to do that. So she must speak herself.
3 minutes.
So what are you saying, city attorney?
She has 3 minutes. I mean, if she wants to speak, but
Yes.
it can't go, the full 3 minutes, that would be it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Very good.
¿Es ok?
No, está bien. Who do you,
A speaker has 3 minutes to speak. Every speaker who goes up has 3 minutes. Somebody can't give if you can't give your 3 minutes to somebody else to speak 6 minutes.
I see.
So it has to be 3 minutes.
Can the young lady speak? Mrs. Estrada? Yeah.
¿Está dando el tiempo ella? ¿Puedo o no? Ok, thank you. Creo que me faltó un minuto. El minuto lo quiero hablar.
Sí, falta un minuto
Por
todavía,
favor.
sí, exacto. Tiene
Ok,
10
después de
minutos,
que
sí.
estoy contenta, me paras, por favor, quiero decir, bueno. Ok, la organización Calexico Parents Athletic League no nomás hace deporte, nosotros adoptamos 3 campos, que es Quintilla Andrade, es Camila y es Holdridge, y nosotros pusimos cerco, 125 árboles, el cerco de Daniel Gutiérrez, las luces, que eso no se me va a olvidar porque es un proyecto muy grande. Todo eso hacemos como comunidad. Y ahorita que estamos en conjunto con la ciudad, creo que vamos a trabajar más duro para unirnos y hacer más grande esta ciudad. Y yo los invito que con más tranquilidad hablemos, nos acerquemos, y creo que todos vamos a triunfar. Hay que agarrar lo bueno de cada una de las personas y vamos a hacer más grande en este pueblo. Gracias.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just to be clear then, if you've spoken once and someone wants to give you their time, that's not allowed. Okay, I understand that now.
Christian
Okay.
Estrada?
Good evening. This is Christian Estrada, and I have some concerns for the city of Calexico. Let's be what's it called? Let's adapt to and deal with changes, especially with technology. Allowing free Wi-Fi from this building to the public would be great for the visitors. And like me, I do not have access to the internet. Therefore, I cannot take that book with me and sit down and to see what you guys are following along. I'm sorry, to see what you guys are declaring. And however, I sometimes forget to download it to my iPad, which I do not have enough space to download it. Therefore, free Wi-Fi to the community of Calexico, especially this building and other buildings, would be great. How much does the city of Calexico practice the Americans with Disabilities Act? How much does it inform the residents and citizens of the Americans with Disabilities Act? Putting information to know their rights, people with disabilities, especially in the agenda, would be great, so that those with disabilities, such disability, could be accommodated if requested timely. And I haven't read it. If you see it, show me, please. Where at? Bottom of, I think so. Putting it in the front would be better, because the community is reading from the front to the back, not backwards. And then forming the community, the disability community of Calexico, would be great. Doing workshops for people with disabilities, especially those who take care of their relatives with disabilities, would be great, so that people could begin asserting their rights. And some concern of the Oktoberfest. There was lack of communication through email, and I'm concerned why I received it a response more than 9 days. And also too, the email Calexico Oktoberfest at gmail.com, that's unprofessional. I'm concerned why isn't it being used at the city of Calexico or whatever the city of Calexico uses. That's unprofessional for this city to be doing that, using other email systems. I think so future emails at the city of Calexico would be great and beneficial, more professional. And Just please, in the future, have those who will communicate effectively. I do not appreciate that it took that long for me to receive a response from an unprofessional email, and that would be great for future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your concerns.
Jesse Garcia?
Welcome, Jesse.
Good evening. Jesse Garcia, 600 Block, Lincoln Street. This one right here. Jesse Garcia, 600 Block, Lincoln Street. Good evening a todos. Little by little, we're losing our public parks bathrooms. I mean, there's no more bathrooms in many parks. Rodriguez Park's bathrooms were shut down years ago. So the building is there, which is in very bad shape. To me, needs to be demolished and a new one built. Recently, we just had the public bathrooms at Nosotros Park also shut down now, just a couple of weeks back. I've been getting calls from people who go there every morning, mostly seniors, wanting to know what happened to those bathrooms, how come they're locked up. Well, I believe if we're going to have them, we should keep them, in operating order. But instead, they're breaking them down because somebody's going in there, damaging the bathrooms, stealing the commodes and everything for scrap metal. But instead of repairing them, they're just shutting them down and forgetting about them. I don't think that's right. We should have them. Many of you know that about 2-3 days ago, there was a fire in the river bottom by Nosotros Park. Well, there's a homeless camp right there around the spot where that fire started. And they've been tearing up the fence. One time they knocked down a piece of the fence. Mike Solano sent his crew, and they did a good job. 2 days later, they came back with a wire cutter. Now there's a big hole there. So I believe that there has to be a wrought iron fence like that president, what's his name? Trump. He's doing right there by the port. Something like that, something strong. So they won't be able to damage the fence anymore. So we need to start doing something to our parks. I mean, they're going by the wayside. Forgot everything else. All right, next time.
All right, Jesse. Thank you very much for your insights.
Guillermo Hermosillo?
Guillermo Hermosillo, 1196 Margarita. Mr. Hodge, on your speech on speaking, I don't agree at all. A lot of times criticism is what we have. If you and your fellow council people don't like what the public comes up here to say, you guys gotta behave. Because I was here the last meeting and a lot of what they said was true about you and everybody up here. So if you don't wanna hear negative stuff, you should be different. But I don't agree at all with you trying to shut the public up. I think everybody expresses themselves different, and you should let them be. If you don't want to get criticized, stay out of public service. That's all there's to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tony Dominguez?
Tony Domínguez, publisher de Derechos de Opinión del Lechugón, mercadólogo. En esta ocasión, pocas veces he estado en este estrado porque la mayoría que se sube en este estrado viene a ofender a los señores del concilio, vienen a reclamar. Yo siempre he creído que en el pedir está el dar y en los caminos correctos y legales se puede lograr mucho. En esta ocasión vengo a dar un agradecimiento y un reconocimiento al gran apoyo que recibimos por parte del Departamento de Policía para el evento del Rito de Independencia, también a los bomberos, a servicios públicos, de la señora Lili, a Morris, que recibimos un gran apoyo también por parte de él, del mismo Ciudad de Calexico. Si no fuera por todo ese apoyo, no se hubiera logrado el éxito que tuvimos y la amplia seguridad. Pienso que siempre hay que hablar las partes buenas también de la Calexico, no nomás venir a gritar sin dar una solución. Siempre hay que dar una solución, no venir a crear un problema o agrandar un problema. Agradezco todo el apoyo, también a la señora Lorena, también que con ella me coordiné con la ciudad, lógicamente bomberos que está por aquí, policía y los muchachos del grupo de Explorer, que recibimos totalmente el apoyo. Gracias a todo ese grupo, contando con Morris, tuvimos un gran éxito de ese gran evento. Pienso que ese tipo de eventos de la comunidad se deben de repetir. Hay 2 eventos en puerta, uno el sábado, otro el día, creo que el día 31. Espero que todo salga bien y que todos nos divertamos. Esta es la comunidad, estamos muy chiquitos, hay que divertirnos. ¿Verdad? Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias. Thank you, Mr. Torres.
That is all, sir.
That's it? Yeah.
They have numbers. Come on down, Mr. Kim. I don't have it. I have number 7 and on all the rest, but I don't have public comments.
Well,
Just come on.
come on up, it was a mistake.
Okay, public comment first. Good evening, and citizens of Calexico, and council members and staffs. And before starting, I've had a long homework I have to release it today for the Rosy Fernandez. I congratulate you to you elected, but you turn citizens or your supporter turned down. When I was council, I have allergies. When I drink beer, any alcohol, before I finish 1 cup, my face red and red and red. So public place, when I have some function I'm drinking, they say, "Oh, Mr. Kim, you drunk." No, I just get even finished the 1 cup. They say, "Oh, you drunk, you red, you have face red." Okay. So you know what caused me that? I have to stop drinking with the public to not to giving any reason to be saying Kim was drunk. And you drunk 2 times. And you don't know how to stop. You don't know how to respond to your positions. Your position representing the city of Calexico. People who vote for you or whole city of the Calexico. You have to, when you are elected, you are the one public figures. You are fish in the fish tank. You have to cut lots of the personal habit or personal things for the Calexico, not for yourself. Or you fail. So, I believe there needs something to be done by yourself or by the public. And the other one is, Mr. Hodge, this is not your kingdom. You act like a king. You giving the order, you can do that, you cannot do that. You eliminating public democracy's right of the speech. right of the freedom of their thinking. We can expose what we're thinking. Besides that, Mr. Pacheco called me liar without knowing what's really going on.
Don't start, Mr.
No,
Kim.
not don't start.
Liar, coward.
No,
don't
I
start.
didn't say liar. Mr. Pacheco called me liar. Okay, without knowing what's going on. That's
No
showing the
personal
people
exchanges.
how short information or knowledge about the city issues.
Okay.
Okay, so you try to make nicer, but you make them worse, and you failing to be transparent the community. You want to talk nice, but you guys' action was really people doesn't see that way. People say negative things because they're not happy.
30
You
seconds,
don't
Mr.
want
Kim.
to hear that. So why you guys may have a meeting then? You guys always have meetings of making decisions without the meeting. For example, for the what's called the street sweeping employees.
Your last sentence, Mr. Kim, your time is up, sir.
Okay. So I have number 7.
Yes, you do.
Okay. I'm glad we're going to have a little more flexible under our police, so we can have at least more numbers to protect and patrolling the citizens. I keep saying you guys failing to secure safety on the citizens. Downtown, a lot of places being graffiti because no patrolling. A lot of happening. We should have a number at least 48 or 50. Even not going to meet up. Even not going to be enough to do the police work. And a lot of officers there overtime, they got tired, jeopardizing their safety too. But when we hire new police officers, we are jeopardizing a lot of chance to get mistaken by them without knowing. So I really suggest the council to make sure our officers on the street well informed it and well guarded it to make sure they don't make the mistake. When they make the mistake, cost of the citizens' safety, unhappy, and the city's lawsuit. So please be carefully, but we need to have more police officers. Of course, we need to have more fires too. But when I say agenda is police officers, please, to put all the money we can available, extra money, so we can have more safety officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim.
Alberto Alviso.
Buenas noches, miembros del concilio, City Manager, Assistant City Manager y el público en general. Lo que quiero comentar es breve. Ustedes que se pusieron como miembros del concilio fueron voluntariamente a esa silla porque ustedes creían que son capaces para hacer lo que están haciendo. La mayoría de las veces no va a ser bonito lo que la gente va a venir a hablarles. Va a expresarles sus inconformidades conforme ustedes tomen buenas o malas decisiones. Es como la gente va a venir a hablar con ustedes. Las cosas que hay que hacer bien se les va a felicitar y las que no hacen bien se les va a pedir una opinión, ¿no? Se les va a decir, ¿cómo se dice la palabra? Se les va a reclamar cosas que están haciendo mal. Yo estoy de acuerdo en que debemos caminar hacia adelante, en mejorar las cosas, en mejorar la ciudad, y creo que muchas de las cosas que ustedes han hecho han sido buenas, pero ha habido otras que han afectado a una gran mayoría de los ciudadanos de Calexico. Como varios de las personas que subieron a hablar aquí dijeron, algunos, que no está bien que vengan a gritar, que en el pedir está el dar. Y ha habido ocasiones donde muchas veces se les ha pedido y no hicieron nada. Y esas son las veces que uno se molesta, cuando uno sí busca hacer algo bien. Yo creo que a nadie nos gusta que nos griten, que nos hablen mal, a nadie nos gusta. Pero cuando nos estamos equivocando, cuando más de una persona te dice estás mal, estás haciéndolo mal, es porque a lo mejor algo estás haciendo mal. Entonces, quiero cerrar diciendo nada más esto. Por lo que usted, señor Hodge, dijo al principio, ¿verdad? Que no puede tolerar que griten, insulten. Estoy de acuerdo, los insultos a nadie nos gustan. Pero si sean abiertos a escuchar lo que las necesidades de las personas vienen y expresan aquí. Y no solamente escuchar, sino también a tomar acción. Eso es lo que va a hacer la diferencia. Acuérdense, los hechos hablan más que 1000 palabras. Y yo he estado aquí desde que pasó el incidente en Santo Tomás, casi un año ya. Yo he venido a todas las juntas, no me he perdido casi pues a ninguna, ¿verdad? Y he visto cómo ustedes hablan que vamos a hacer esto, vamos a hacer aquello, y no se ve. En muchas ocasiones no se ve. Y eso es lo que la gente quiere empezar a ver en ustedes, que lo que digan, lo cumplan. Eso es todo. Gracias.
Time for city council comments and reports of meetings attended. Start on my left. Anything, Councilman Rice?
I have no comment.
Councilman Pacheco?
Kicked off the 2020
Yes.
census, and it's very important that everybody take the time to fill out the census. And this time it's different because it's going to be done on the computer. And if you don't have access to a computer, we will be providing one for those people that would be designated areas. So I'll allow you to finish up on that and touch up on your meetings with the county. But 2020 census is coming about, and we wanted to make sure everybody gets counted, because it's money, state veterans, so it's an important thing we get counted, and we don't want to lose money for the city or the county. 2020. The ICT is still working on the possibility of having ours hub, and we're focusing on some properties, I guess, and they're still looking at those issues. Second Street expansion on the bridge is still on the docket, so we're looking for funding for that to come in. And I think Ollie and 98 is still an issue for us. Those three areas are still working on for the roads for us. Other than that, we're looking pretty good. Thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Fernandez.
I attended the Heffernan Memorial Healthcare District press conference. Quite interesting. They're collaborating with our school district regarding medication that the children are taking while being in school. So it's very informative. I think Heffernan has been doing a great job working with other with the community. Also, the League of Cities. Also, I attended along with our councilman, mayor, and Pacheco and Romero. It's quite interesting to know what our neighbors are doing and how their growth. It's very informative. It was a very informative meeting. I also, with the Chamber of Commerce, they had a luncheon for Sandra Taylor's retirement, which it was very, it was nice to have her there, and the Chamber, appreciated all the work that she did for us. As well, I met with the Border Patrol, and we're talking about a wall. It's not going to be a wall, it's a fence. And so I did suggest town hall meetings, so that's what they're counting on having town hall meetings to communicate to the public on what the fence is going to look like and what consequences or what's going to be taking place when the fence is going up. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. I have a few. On last Monday, I attended the mayor's inauguration of Marina del Pilar Avila Olmeda of Mexicali, a very dynamic and forceful woman. I think she's going to do a great job for Mexicali. And what I've been looking at and has asked is for us to renew the sister city agreement that we have in place for between Calexico and Mexicali, that we may focus on cultural events and exchanges, economic development, and so forth. So it was a delightful event. Back to home here, I went to Nosotros Park. I was last night, I believe, and the T-ball, very cute little 2-year-olds trying to hit the ball and run. And the coaches told me that before the games, they're finding needles, syringes. That's unexcusable. We've got to do something about that. We need to make sure that that park and the other parks are clean of that type of material so that the children can be safe. And Rockwood Park, I'm very pleased to hear that some families went out and used the park, and I do want to commend the police department for being aggressive and doing a good job. I think that's it. I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, I have no intention of stopping you from speaking or shutting you down. Maybe we need to make clear the distinction between constructive criticism, and within that criticism, it can be offending, and we're public servants, and we need to take it. But profanity, I don't think you would agree you want to hear that all the time here. And slanderous remarks and defamation of character is against the law to use that in a city council meeting. I'll try better in the future to make the distinction. I thought I gave clear examples. We want order. We don't want a circus. And it's emotionally upsetting. So that's my reason for giving that speech. But by all means, feel relaxed and free to come up and constructively criticize and hold us accountable. You have that right. Okay, city manager's report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. I'd like to, if it's okay with you, to expand a little bit more on that. I was not going to do it, but
Sure.
I feel a need to talk about the First Amendment of the United States. Because the right to free speech under the First Amendment of the United States in the Constitution is paramount. It's an essential part and a fabric of our nation. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution protects freedom of speech and is as such considered one of the most important protections that exist in a democratic society. Without free speech protections, citizens would have a hard time challenging their government or speaking freely about the issues that matter to them. A democratic system can only exist when citizens are free to argue, debate, voice their opinions without fear of retribution. Free speech, however, does have limits. While the First Amendment is an important right granted to all U.S. citizens, there are certain forms of speech that are prohibited by law. Deliberate misrepresentation of the facts intended to harm the city or its council and administration are intolerable and are not covered under the First Amendment. Defamation is not, I repeat, not covered by the First Amendment. If it is deliberate and it's intended to harm somebody's reputation. When defamation occurs in speech, it's called slander, and when it's in print, it's called libel. Defamation is essentially a lie that can harm a person's reputation. What happened in the past few council meetings, some was true, some was patently false, and clearly slander. If it's not slander, then I challenge those speakers to bring forth evidence, maybe not to us or to us, bring it straight to the department or to the DA. That's fine. We're open to that. Because we are always open to being challenged for the betterment of this city. We're open to constructive dialogue regarding the direction of the city, and we're even open to harsh criticism if it's based on the facts and the intent of the criticism and overall benefit of the city. If there's something that we can do better, we want to know. The public speakers can be rude, they can be insolent, that's their right. But slander is not tolerable. We are not perfect. We know this. We are coming out of what I would consider one of the darkest times in the city's history 3 to 4 years ago. You'll see, and we hoped it was going to be this meeting, but it'll be next meeting in October 23rd, where we're going to show you and bring to council the latest financial documents that we have as far as the fiscal year 18-19 and where we stand right now. As it appears right now, we're looking that we're above water at this point. And that is because of the sacrifices of the council, sacrifices of the staff, and also sacrifices from the residents. We know that there are things that we cannot get to because the financial condition of the city, like the bathrooms. Mr. Garcia, we know that there's issues with the bathrooms. All that costs money. We will try to get that money to put toward those restrooms when we can. But it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice you're making. It's a sacrifice we're making by doing 2 jobs, some of us. But in that light, I want to kind of go a little bit off that's the norm for a moment, because we know we went through these dark times, and a lot of that dark times had a lot of anger. There's a lot of resentment from those days. I would like to talk about forgiveness, because without forgiveness, we're living in the past. You need to live in the present, and we need to look to the future. Right now, our future is looking brighter than it has in many years. We're above the water. We're breathing. The ship is moving. It's not moving as fast as we want for obvious reasons. We still have some things to fix on the ship. The engine needs some tune-ups. There's some things that we still need to do, and we're doing what we can with our staffing. Forgiveness is also paramount. It's not, when you think of forgiveness, you think, oh, that person does not deserve my forgiveness. But forgiveness is not for you. I mean, it's not for the person that you're forgiving. The forgiveness is for you. The human heart can only hold so much. So if you hold anger, bitterness, resentment, you have no room for love and moving forward with those kind of things. So forgiveness is a benefit of the forgiver, and this city needs to move past those days. We need to look to the future. And in order to do that, we need to let go of the past. I shudder when people say, I will never forgive him or her for doing this or that or the other. Because holding those things is like a poison. And you hold those in your heart, then you're expecting the other person to die. It doesn't work that way at all. So I implore you, let's move past the past. Let's look toward the future and move forward for a better city. I also want to say very quickly that I've worked with our police chief for 2 years or more, 2.5 years. I've found our police chief to be a man of integrity. I back him 100%. I back our police department 100%. As was stated earlier, and it's true, we are severely understaffed, and we're aware of that. But what they're doing with what they have and the resources they have is incredible. I'm told by other city managers, not even in this county, around the state, that a city's manager, his time is spent approximately 30% just on internal police issues. My time for the police department is almost 0%. It's run that efficiently. So I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. And to the fire department, thank you. You all are taking sacrifices. The city CMEA is taking sacrifices. We need to look at those contracts as we move forward, as our financial situation gets better. We need to re-look at those things, because all those sacrifices, it's time now as we move forward to look at those again. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Mr. Miguel Figueroa.
No items to report, Mayor.
All right, sir. That concludes those two areas. Now we move on to consent agenda, items 5, 6, and 7.
Motion to approve items 5, 6, and 7, the consent.
Is there a second? Second. Very good. Let's vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Okay. It passes unanimously. We'll let him leave. See, that's the kind of thing that we don't want. It makes us nervous, and it's uncalled for. It's decorum. You wouldn't shout, you wouldn't use profanity in church. And the city council also has a certain decorum. So, okay, so we're done with that was fast. Let's move on. Discussion and potential action items. Number 8. Adopt, subject matter is approval of resolution number 2019-42, a resolution of the City Council, the City of Calexico, California, revising cannabis cultivation business tax rate. Okay. Any backup information?
Yeah, quick comment.
Yes.
As you know, we took a tax measure to the voters to tax different aspects of cannabis. Earlier this year, we adopted taxes for cultivation, manufacturing, distribution. Not distribution, but retail. All we're doing with this resolution right now is revising the tax around cultivation. Right now, our cultivation tax is $16 per square foot of space utilized. We're going to modify that to be only applied to mature cannabis plants. That would be consistent with state law, and also would be more consistent with what other jurisdictions are doing. So that's the only revision doing. We're still at the same tax, $16 per square foot of space utilized, but now we'll only apply to mature plants. And that's the only revision we're making at this point.
Okay.
This flower,
Correct.
it's already a growing plant.
Yeah, because if you tax the immature plants, sometimes you may be taxing seedlings, plants that are being cultivated by nurseries, which then essentially get sold over to who's going to be cultivating. So we're just creating a layer, a more equitable tax for cultivation.
Very good. Any public comments?
Yes. Mr. Kim?
Okay. Let me just state, ladies and gentlemen, what he just said, what it's about. It is not about any moral issues about cannabis.
Thank you, Mr. Haji. You're telling your moral value to the publicly to you supporting the cannabis. Thank you. Okay. First of all, the money we revenue or taxes supposedly put into our safeties. because that cannabis activity is going to cause a loss of the money or crime rate going to be going up, or illegal distribution of the cannabis, marijuana. So we need to have more officers, we need to have more personnel for the enforcement. And I'd like to see all the money goes into the safety for the public, including some of the education for the public. What kind of a disadvantages to using the marijuana? And others, how come no tax and testing and the distributions? So they can have a wholesalers so they don't pay the special taxes. And testing, I really don't know what kind of testing they do. They have activities cannabis. They should be charged it. If they call some and the members go to there to testing, how pure, and they're not going to get charged. So if the cannabis taxes has to be charged, every actions they're doing it, that should go to the public safety. Without increasing enforcement, city of Calexico gonna be some kind of funny town. We have enough right now. It's gonna be worse. And I heard a lot complaint last of the presence of marijuana in school. So where is the enforcement? So we should have money, spend money for our safety, for the public, and the education. And plus, so I'm not really agree with distribution and testing is not being charged the tax. They should be in charge of the tax. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Kim.
Just to clarify for the public, the reason it says no tax is because testing and distribution, if you were to tax those, you're gonna double tax it, because those testing, all it does is test, but it's gonna go back to cultivation or manufacturing. So, and distribution is just between one of those sorts of taxing entities.
Okay.
So if you're testing or distribution, it would be a double tax, because the cannabis would be taxed in either on the cultivation side, manufacturing, or retail. Those are just the in-betweens.
Double tax.
That's what you would end up with.
Double tax.
Right. And that's the way everybody, because of that reason, that's the way all the other tax items for the jurisdictions are very similar to that.
And I understand it's easy sometimes to read these agendas, get a misconception about what it's really about. So thank you for your clarification, City Attorney. Moving on, no, we have to vote on this.
I'll make a motion that we approve item number 8.
Second.
Okay, very good. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, there are none opposed. Passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 9. Discussion and potential action regarding Ronald McDonald House Charities of San Diego request for temporary use permit fee waiver. I'd like to say something about that. Sometimes compromise is necessary to sustain solid, good relationships between entities. Ronald McDonald House Charities of San Diego offers important services to the Calexicans. About 25% take advantage of the services. This service and relationship is very positive to our citizens. So this is a good thing for the citizens. So I support the waiver for temporary use permit filing fee. And just to indicate the public comments, this item is not about, if it is about whether you support or don't support this request. But it's not about past waivers. Should not be, just stick to the item. But any background, or you want to comment on this? Administration?
If there are any comments or questions on any particular matter, Mr. Velasco is here to address it. If not, we have nothing else to report.
Council members?
There was a nice article last week about families assisted
Yes.
by the Ronald McDonald's, and there was like maybe 3 families from the Imperial County that have used their services, and just staying at a hotel was over $100, and some families, and food. So some of these families are saving lodging and even food. So for a young family with a young infant that is receiving major hospitalization and doctors, this is something that really would come in and benefit those families from the Imperial County and San Diego counties. So I'm also in favor of this. I'll second your motion, Mr. Hodge.
Did I make the motion?
I think you did.
Yes, you did.
All right, I'll make the motion, and there's a second by Councilman Pacheco. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. It passes. Thank you. Moving on to item number 10. Discussion and potential action on request by Mexican consulate for waiver of temporary use permit and traffic control cost for the Lazo Rosa binational event. Any background on this? Or anyone like to speak? Mr. Velasco?
So we received a request from the Mexican consulate for a fee waiver for the Lazo Rosa binational event. It's an awareness event regarding breast cancer, binational. So there's going to be a simultaneous walk on the Mexican side of the border, and they're supposed to meet at the corner, I believe, where Heber and First, right around the border fence. So that's the request we've received. We got feedback from all the departments. It is going to cost the city some money in terms of the overtime hours that the police department will have to spend in traffic control and assisting them. So total, it's going to cost the city the fee plus the overtime hours.
Okay, Chief, did you want to say something?
So this is an event that that they do every year, and the cost will be very minimal. There might be some cost, but it's not going to take any patrol officers off the street. We'll use our traffic controllers to do this. It's attended maybe by about 50, 60 people on our side. Mexico has about maybe 200 people on their side. So I don't see a problem with that.
Good.
Okay.
Council?
Nope.
I just want to say that the Mexican consulate is an extremely important entity and service to Calexicans and their families that live on both sides of the border. The Mexican consulate is located in Calexico, and this is where it should be. The city of Calexico and Mexican consulate has a solid, positive relationship, and we want to continue to sustain that relationship. Therefore, as mayor, I support this waiver and this item. So, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 It passes unanimously.
Maybe the Memorial Health Board could pick up these waivers for. You have a little more money than we do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 11, excuse me. Subject, approved job description, salary range for police recruit, academy cadet. Chief?
Yes, good evening again. This item is a position that we had, and for some reason, it's no longer a position, a job description. What this will do for us as a city, as we are shorthanded for police officers, is be able to go to the academies and actually hire people while they're in the academy and give them academy cadet pay, which is probably half of what a police officer makes. They will not be under the Police Officer Association. They fall under just like a temporary CMEA employee while they're at the academy. It's, of course, they have to go through the process of applying, background check, the whole process, psychological check, medical. The benefits of that is that if we can find a good candidate and they apply and we hold orals, we get the pick of the litter at the beginning of their academy date instead of waiting till we get the leftovers. We've been trying to recruit, and by not going out there early to the academy classes, a lot of the people are not passing their psych test and their polygraphy test. So this would help us get better candidates out there that are out there at the police academies.
Chief, do these applicants come to your department and say, I'm interested in taking in this academy? Would you put me on the list, or is it on their own?
No, so they'll do is they have to apply through human resources. Most of these people are probably already in the academy. They'll apply through human resources, because we'll go recruit, and they'll apply. We schedule them for an oral interview, then they start the process. It takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to hire a police officer. So by doing this, we're looking at saving ourselves from 2 to 4 months. Streamline it, and if they're at the local academy in IVC attending their level 1 academy, and they only go to the academy 26 hours a week, we can probably start their training with all the office work, policy, procedure, fingerprinting, all the stuff that they would learn actually when they're at field training. We would assign them to a field training officer. This would cut their time on field training, and they get out there and do more proactive police work. It's a lot of places have cadet programs like this, and that's the way to get better candidates. A lot of local candidates too will get out of that.
Do they get an opportunity to ride along with officers and see firsthand what goes on in the evening, in the afternoon, in the mornings, to make sure that they get a feel for
So look at the cadet program as a in between Police Explorer and Police Reserve. They won't be able to carry a gun while they're cadets until they graduate from the academy. But everything else, they get exposed, they go to calls. It's up to the field training officer whether he's going to allow them to get off at a call or not. He might just have to stay like a citizen in the passenger vehicle and observe from there. The whole thing is, like I said, is getting them to learn policy and procedure, which takes quite a bit of time from the field training program, and we can get a head start on showing them what we have. Also, their probationary period does not start till they get sworn in as full-time police officers, so we have 18 months worth of probation. This doesn't count until they get sworn in. If we see any problems with a candidate, then we let them go. But we're hoping that by doing this program, we can pick qualified candidates for the city of Calexico.
Are they going to be committed to us in any way?
Yes. So once they pass, they pass everything. We do a conditional job offer. They sign a piece of paper saying that they will stick with us for the city, with the city of Calexico. A lot of these candidates, male and female, are people that have gone to the military, are coming back, and they want to be here in the valley, and they want to work for Calexico or in other cities. So we're losing a lot of good candidates to departments that have this type of program, local program.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any public comments?
Mr. Kim?
Okay.
Thank you. This is Kim again. This is another proof, Mr. Hachi, you're not doing your job. I was mistaken because you screw me, my brains. I confused number 7 and number 12. So, and number 7, I supposed to talk to the library. I speak out to the police, the number 12. And you didn't know even. So you don't know what we're talking about it. I made the mistake, yes. Well, you're worse. You're the one who's leading the meeting. You're supposed to know I'm talking right or not.
I don't really know what your meaning is. What is he?
See? Look at this.
Well, it's hard to understand sometimes.
Oh, yes. You don't understand.
We skipped an item, is that what you're saying?
When I said when I was talking, number 7, it should be libraries issues. But I speak about the police issues because of number 12. I messed up. And you even didn't know about it.
Okay.
You see how bad you are? And you're talking about it nicely?
Well, I promise I'll get better.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, is there something you want to comment on this item? And
Yes,
the item is not really about the efficiency or inefficiency of the police department.
Yes.
Just a job description.
I supporting number 12. Like I spoke, and we need to hire more personnel. But please don't let them to train them to leave the city. Try to find them to stay here to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you didn't.
All right. We are on item 12. I'm sorry, we have to vote. Yes.
Is there a second?
Let's make a motion to vote on this last item. Approve job description, salary range to police recruit academy cadet. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve it.
All
I
right.
second it.
Second, very good. Let's vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Now we move on to item number 12.
Speakers.
No, we already had it on that. We're going to 12. Authorize the city manager to sign agreement with Republic Services for the collection and disposal of solid waste and street sweeping services. And we have a lot of hard-working men from Republic here tonight. Thank you for coming. Any background information?
Men and women, both. We have men and women here, both. But yes, okay. So we were directed by council several months ago to attempt to negotiate with Republic to get a contract. We did so. We think we came up with the best deal we could for the city in those negotiations. And if you'd like, or if you would like to say all the things that are going to be included in this contract?
You can mention some. I think they're beyond
Okay.
the service that should be required.
So in this contract, Republic will be providing one person 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, to clean the downtown, pick up trash at no additional cost to the city. That's a big one because, as you are aware, we have issues with trash in the downtown area. We have talked to Republic, and it's included in this contract, and for street sweeping services, as has been talked about. We currently have one street sweeper, and it runs 16 hours a day, 2 shifts, and it is not enough for the entire city. We've heard it many times. You see the street sweeper maybe once a year in your neighborhood. In this contract, they will provide street sweeping services for every street in the city of Calexico twice monthly. So that is a huge thing. It will be paid through our HUDA fund. It's not general fund tax. It's not general fund. It is a cost of $245,000 a year. We are spending approximately, I hope I don't get this wrong, maybe Lily can correct me, but I believe we're spending somewhere on the $170,000 a year for one street sweeper, which is out of date, and it's past its useful life. Next month, it's down for service right now. We're going to be renting a street sweeper for next month, and moving forward with that. The city, we have one full-time employee who is a street sweeper. He will continue to have that title until which time that we can bring it back to council for making that adjustment. We don't anticipate that it would be a negative adjustment for the employee. We think it will be a positive one. We have met and confer with done a meet and confer with CMEA. However, some items came up that just before the meeting that we need to further discuss, and we anticipate discussing those items next week. Until which time the employee will remain as a street sweeper until an agreement can be made with CMEA on that item. So we have approximately 3 to 4 months, I'm thinking. I don't know how long the lead item is for the purchasing these street sweepers, but we know it's a fairly long item. It could be 3 months, it could be 4 months, I'm not sure. So it may not be January 1st when we start street sweeping. I hope it is. But if it's not, it may be moved to February, March, depending on when they can start and get mobilized. So we will be doing our own street sweeping until that time, and even potentially, depending on the meet and confer process with CMEA, continue the street sweeping services, although our existing street sweeper, as I mentioned before, is at its end of its useful life. It's gone 16 hours a day, every day, since 2014. So that gives you an idea how old it is. So that is included in the contract. Republic will still continue to do the community cleanup events, and we've talked to Republic about including the multifamily people to be able to do go to those cleanup events with just an ID. That was a big item. Future customer rate adjustments. So this does not change the rate.
Please state that again.
This does not change the rate. However, every year in the contract since, I think, 1997, I think, when the first contract, something like that, there's an increase based on the CPI. So that ranges depending on, more or less 2%, 3%, something like that. And it has been like that since 1997. It will continue to be like that. We have included in the negotiations a maximum that it can be raised on an annual basis, and a minimum. So no less than 1%, no more than 4%. So starting January, yes, there will be an increase, but that would have been a normal increase that we would have seen anyway. So Republic will provide the monthly franchise fee to equal to 12% of the gross receipts. That's current contract. There's no change to that. And then to help the city meet its obligations under the applicable new laws that have already been approved by the state legislature, Republic will fund a 1/2-time city staff position, $60,000 a year, and we've spoken many times about it, a code enforcement officer to simply, half of his time or her time will be simply downtown areas.
That's a great plus.
That is a big plus for downtown, I think. And also this one is also included in our current contract. They pay the city approximately $50,000 a year, and that is for the wear and tear on the streets, and that money goes to the street improvements. This Republic will also pay to the city every year $10,000 to benefit the downtown area. This amount will be adjusted as the same CPI on an annual basis. Republic also, they currently do this. They provide $1,300 a year for scholarships. And I think it's 3 scholarships if I'm not mistaken. And so that is essentially what is in the contract. There was some legalese changed recently in the last week, so we have a new contract in front of you. And the differences you'll see in front of you are summarized, and basically they're legal issues that came up afterwards.
Thank you, Mr. Dale. Excellent report. Council?
It's going to be street sweeping 3 times a week. Is that right, Mr. Dale?
I'm sorry.
3 times a week downtown?
So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
And Friday, okay.
Yes, downtown.
Okay.
Anyone else among the council wants to make a comment before public comments? I want to say that this item is about the duration of the contract, the type of services offered, and city council rejecting the staff's recommendation to solicit proposals for competitive bidding process. We did that a few months back, in which, by law, the city council had a right to reject the bidding process. This item is not about the quality of service by Republic or for any proposed mandate for, in general, for the bidding process. Just want to make that clear what this item is about. We're voting on the contract. All right, public comment?
No, I think your concerns was the state bills and assembly bills that we needed to cover the recycling and make sure that we had that covered in this contract. That was the.
It should be clarified here also that some of those bills that we are still haven't negotiated the price for some of those for Republic to do, but we have 3 cities that Republic works for in this county, I think it's 3, that we will be negotiating those as a whole. So we don't have those prices yet because we're still working on them, but thank you.
May we move on to public comment?
Mr. Dale, on the street sweeper that we have now, in case of Allied Waste or Republic, they don't take them in, is there lateral movement for him?
Well, we're not expecting him to leave the city. We're expecting to create a position for him that is similar to what he has now or better.
All right, just to protect him, you know, he's been here for so many years. So.
Yes.
Mr. Risen, I have a public comment. My name is Lorena Minor, and since you brought up the topic, I am the Calexico Municipal Employee Association President. I'm sorry, Gabby, if I may, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
I guess, go ahead. Since Mr. Risen brought up the topic, the negotiations for that employee have been going underway. However, the contract came into the council agenda before that started. As a resident myself of Calexico, this is a great deal, and I have a great working relationship with Republic myself. However, I think, and as a courtesy to your employee, I believe you should wait on the contract tonight. A technicality came up today after 5 o'clock that is being worked on with the administration. However, this employee that's been with the city for 27 years, his position will be eliminated. We're working on getting something for him within the city. However, out of courtesy for him, you know what, I'm gonna go back to tell you guys haven't been here as long as I have in the city as council members. My group, which consists of laborers, parks, secretaries, executive assistants, code enforcement officers, we used to be over 150 employees. We're down to 40. These positions are being eliminated little by little, and I understand why. The fiscal budget is the one that has drove the city to do this. However, my group has not gotten anything from the city for the last 13 years. I haven't been up here in this podium for a long time, but I can tell you that our employees have been the first ones to give the city the cutbacks that you have asked, not necessarily this council, but previous councils. This is a great deal for the city. However, think about that employee. If this is not gonna happen till next year, wait one more meeting till we finish our negotiations for this person. Give them that sanity. He's giving you 27 years and he's still not at retirement age. Another thing is, you know, going back, you guys all tell me, you care for your employees. We haven't had Employee of the Month for I don't know how long. The last recognition our employees got was when Ralph Velez was here, a little plaque I'm talking about, a little certificate, milestone.
Lorena,
Milestone.
Gabby and I are working on it.
And you know what? I know that the current human resources director started, but I don't know what happened. It dies every time. But just the morale needs to come up, and like Mr. Dale said, and I appreciate different times are coming, it's getting better, but this is one circumstances that I ask you guys to wait at least one more meeting till this is discussed, only because it was done backwards. And we are totally, sincerely negotiating all in good faith with the city. We're willing to do this, but it hasn't been completed. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dale, you want to address some of those concerns?
I can, yeah, sure. We have absolutely no intention of eliminating the position until which time that we have had to meet and confer and have agreement in place. So that position will not be eliminated. If we never agree on something, then he will continue as a street sweeper until which time we do agree on. So there's no plan in place to eliminate his position until there's something else for him. So if, again, I want to repeat, we will not eliminate his position until which time the CMEA agrees to a change.
We're going to give him the respect that he deserves from me.
He absolutely does, and I concur 100%. I know the individual, and he's a very respectable person, and you know we care deeply. So as a result of this contract, his position will not be eliminated at all until which time we agree on something with the CMEA.
Okay. Public comments?
Ben Horton.
You have to fill out a slip. No.
Ben.
It's Ben's turn. You defer? Okay, go ahead.
In the council, I used to be worker from Island Waste. I was promised when something happened, I could come back to the city. Then they gave me the position back. We need to have something serious, give the employees what he deserves. That when they're going to be replaced. This company is a very good company. So take care of the business company. We need the service as soon as we can. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Horton.
Distinguished members of the council, public, first thing I want to say, I approve for the contract with Republic. And one of the reasons that I say this, yesterday they took care of my problem. I do some property management and they were right there to take care and resolve the problem. Touche to them. They did well. They carried the day. And the other thing is, in reference to the scholarship, is that through the Calexico Educational Fund, or how's that going to work for the scholarship? You talked about a scholarship.
There is a scholarship of $1,300 per year, and I think it's broken up into 3. But I'm not sure how they implement it.
Okay. That's up to them how they want to work with that. And then the other thing is, indirectly, and I'm talking in reference to Jack in the Box. They tried calling the city to get a clarification for the gate by their store. Nobody returned the calls, nobody cared. And I understand Republic is giving $10,000, touche to them, they're doing well.
Okay.
And I just want to say, today, Jack in the Box, the district manager, sent a letter to the corporation saying that Calexico is non-performing. I didn't like that. In other words, they tried to get a clarification, they didn't get it. They said the gates would be up within 2 weeks. Here we are going on the 3rd week. Nothing's been done. Nothing wrong with Republic. They did their part. They made sure the money was there to take care of it. But I'm asking the council to be more attentive to your businesses and their need, and to at least answer what they ask for.
30
Mr.
seconds.
Risen.
I can clarify that. When we sign the contract, if we approve this contract, we will get the monies from Allied Waste from Republic, and we will use that for the gate. Jack in the Box will have a gate.
All right, thank you,
that's
Mr. Risen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horton. Continuing, public comments.
Chief Gerardo?
I'm just here to want to publicly. I've been wanting to thank them for the great assistance that they did during Mr. Trump's visit. We gave Republic Services about 3 days, Sean. We actually gave them a 3-day notice, asking them if they could help us out. First thing out of Herman, and then we whatever you need. And I said I need to block off. How many streets did we do total? We probably did about 60 streets that they went and they got their crew with our city crew, everybody in our part from the city. I mean, we came together as a team. This was the city of Calexico's responsibility when he came into town, and one of the biggest tasks was security. And I want to thank him personally. I haven't had a chance to thank the bosses. And the workers that came out that day, and you guys went out of your way to make sure that all these trash bins and all these obstacles that we put up, barricades, were put up. Not only was that the hard part, but I think the hardest part was the afterwards, is I need my streets open now. And the same thing, they came back out, and within about an hour, we were all open, everything was clear. So in behalf of the police department, and I would like to say on behalf of President Trump, thank you very much for helping us out during this event. They were actually thinking, I was with Secret Service last week, and they were saying that when he was in San Diego, Mr. Trump wanted to come back to Calexico, but it was impossible for him to come down. There was no way we could have put that together. He was only going to give us like a 3-4 day notice, and Secret Service said they couldn't do it. I said we couldn't do it. So I'm pretty sure if I would have called you guys would have made it happen. But thanks a lot. Thumbs up to them, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Geraldo. Okay. Any more?
Mr. Kim?
So I only get the 3 minutes, so I'm gonna cut any nice word, and I'm gonna get the point. City of Calexico, with Mr. Hodges' support, we lost the money for the trash sweeper. About we had $50,000 per grant. We get this funny deal from the city managers. We lost the fund, so we don't have money for the sweepers, sweepers, and that's happening. Since then, city goes bad. They don't know how to get the money. So we don't keep the money, so we don't have a sweeper. That's happening to the city of Calexico. And that's happening because our staff is not doing work that way. And beside that, and city of Calexico, they're making funny deal. Where is the R3 contractors? Consultant R3, who is that? The city of Calexico never approved the R3 consultant. And they're using R3 consultant. Illegally using it, illegally spending the money with some consultant. Because the city mayor let them do it, or city manager want to do it. Anyways, there's no proof that R3 consultant to work with them. A city of Calexico proudly announced that they work with them. It should be go RFP process for this contract, this service. We didn't go there. And they hired the R3 consultant without any city approval. And what I understand is there's something wrong, and they might be entitled to be prosecuted because it's not approved by the council. So I don't see any money spending for them, so I don't know who paid for them or how they pay them. Maybe all right ways to pay for them, so they get the job. So council activities, cities, actions wrong. They're not doing clearly. That's why city of Calexico, citizens not feeling, because council members of city said so many good things, nice things, but citizens are not feeling that because we live in different world. And employees, city of Calexico keep cutting employees to give the consultants job. There's another showing. And the city of Calexico should keep the employees and keep the service. We should not eliminating employees for the service.
30 seconds, Mr. Kim.
Oh, thank you. So that's all these numbers. It's funny numbers. $245,000. We're gonna give them the money instead of spending. With that $245,000, we can have 5-6 employees.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Any more public comments?
Mr. Kim, Republic is going to give us 2 street sweepers.
No, I don't want this.
Okay.
No,
No engagement. You want to clarify? I'm going to clarify.
That's
You
not
see,
the proper.
there's a lot of hidden information. 3 minutes I cannot get out.
Not
They just
the
eliminating
proper
this.
decorum.
Yeah. So you guys want to talk the
Morris,
nice
just
things,
refrain.
but they don't let me talk or the behind the stories.
Please sit down, Mr. Kim. Thank you. Yeah. See, that kind of thing back and forth gets heated, and then we get out of control. Talk to the public.
Okay. Republic is going to give us 2 street sweepers. We only have 1 right now, so we have to thank them for that. And also, all these employees are going to stay working. They're going to work for Republic, so they're going to keep their jobs. They're union, so they're going to keep their jobs. And
most of them live in Calexico, a great number.
Right.
I would like to say something. I rather wait. I know you're all going to have your jobs. You know, we waited this long. I rather wait for the next meeting because I want to make sure that our employee that has been here 30-some years, and I want it in writing. I'm not going to follow this. I'm sorry, but I'm going to wait. I rather wait. We waited this long, and you know that I'm with you. But I want to see that our employee gets placed before I vote on anything.
Any other comments?
Well, the issue is you're going to have a contract with the city. That's a given. You're the only company that we're working with, and we've had a consultant help us out. So the issue is we have our contract till the 31st of December. So we've got October, November, December to work out any issues with employees. Mr. Dale, do you see
Is there
any
a time
big
constraint or pressure on time here?
The time constraint has to do with ordering the street sweeping machines themselves. So there's a 3 to 4 month lead time. That's the only problem, but yeah.
Okay. I listened to Mr. Dale. I am very concerned about that employee. But he's convinced me that they're going to treat him right and due process will go on. I just think we've waited so long to approve this contract.
Call for the question.
Yeah. So I'd like to call for the question.
I make a motion that we approve
Okay.
Republic
Is there
Allied
a s-
Waste.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No?
No.
All right, very good. 3 against 1, 1 no. But it passes. Thank you very
Item 13.
Moving on, item number 13. Subject, removal of Business Improvement District Board appointee by Mayor Hodge. I did do that, so there's going to be an opening for the bid in a little while when I give directions. So that's all we need to know about that. Number 14, approval of the Second Amendment to the exclusive listing agreement for commercial real property with Ferris Lee Investments Incorporated.
Mr. Figueroa?
This is an item that comes before you today. As you know, Ferris Lee is the broker that is assisting us in honor our commitment to the Department of Finance in Sacramento to make sure that we do the proper sale of all properties that were bought with redevelopment money. At this time right now, this item is being brought to you to make sure that we can continue the process and complete what we're obligated to do.
Make a motion to accept the approval.
I'd like to say something before we do. And public comments. Okay. I'll go ahead. The property that has not been sold, that is held by the successor agency, is at 2441 Scaroni Road, which includes Calexico's Metropolitan Theater. Besides the top priority of our government bringing jobs to our city, any city government should care about having clean, beautiful parks, attractive schools, and entertainment amenities, like a movie theater. Calexico must not regress. We must do everything possible not to lose our theater. There's not much to do in Calexico to begin with. Now, I understand we have to sell this property, but if we lose the theater, that will be a major setback for our community. That's all I want to say about that. And anybody else want to make a comment? Okay. Public comment?
Mr. Kim?
Years I've been talking about the city managers, several city managers.
Quiet
are
in the
talking.
back, please. Sorry, Mr. Kim.
I've been telling, we could keep all the property from RDA. If we set our own project, we're gonna use it. We can utilizing to that property to our plan, so we can keep all the buildings and lands. And they didn't happen much. Just we keep the what they call the armories place. We all kept that ones. And we should not. We fail to keep our asset for the community. And beside that, we're failing to keep our society to get the reasonable value to giving the exclusive for the ferries, I believe the company, real estate company. So, as a public, we should let everybody knows we're selling their properties so we can get a better deal. And now we're eliminating one entity only, so they can bring their own compass to bring cheaper and pay us a low price. So we should open this one for the every real estate consultant. So we can get a better deal. So we can save them more money, or we can get more money out of it from there. Here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Any other comments? Retorts? No?
No, oh yes, Mr.
Public?
Horton.
Mr. Horton.
Members, audience, what we're looking at here, in my opinion, is there is something in real estate when you talk about capitalization, how much the property is worth and how much it brings in. Now, if you're going to sell a property, one of the things you look for is, do they have a lease? How long is the lease? That adds to the value of the property. Now, what do we have in reference to the theater? We have something that brings people to Calexico. We have something that gives us value as a community. We eliminate that. When other businesses look at Calexico, what are they going to look at? Do we have certain amenities that add to the, let's say, the charm of this city? Do we have what it takes to bring people to this city? We don't have very many restaurants. We have lost those. We don't have very much of anything to talk about, but we do have the theater. And when we have certain movies, it brings people to Calexico. When they get out of the movies, where do they go? They're going to go to maybe Applebee's, which we helped to save. They're probably going to frequent Denny's, maybe Rosa's. It brings people here. And then not only do they spend the money at the theater, when they get out from the theater, let's have something to eat. Let's do something. What is this city about? Now, if we eliminate that, when I talk to people about locating a business to the shopping center that I've seen the property manager for, what am I going to tell the corporations? We don't have this, but we got a piece of land that you can develop. Sometimes, and my feeling is, sometimes you might talk about the short-term part about the money, then eventually the money will be gone. The theater will be gone. And what do we have after that? A big fat zero. Nothing for nothing is nothing. Something from something is something. I hope that the council will, in their judgment, look at what they're doing here. Look at what they want to do. We talk about economic values for the city, how we want to improve the economic outlay of the city, but we seem to be canceling out everything that can help to bring more economic value to the city. I leave you to make your decision, to do what you feel is best, but look at the
30 seconds.
overall picture. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Mr.
Go
Mayor,
ahead.
if I may, I think the
What are
comment-
the legalities and law
the
here?
comments that have been made by the public are not only well taken, but I think they are shared by anybody that lives or works in the city. At this moment right now, there's a long-range property management plan that has to be honored. But also at the same time, it's in the best interest, obviously, for that particular business to remain in Calexico. At this moment right now, they have an existing lease. One of the biggest things that we have been trying to work with Metropolitan is for them to commit to extend that lease. And that is an ongoing duty that we have. I think it was referenced right now that we assisted and facilitated the process to keep a restaurant in our city. I would say that this is as important as to retain any business, regardless of their size in the city. So we need to honor our obligation as a city with the state of California, but also at the same time, we need to work and do our part to make sure that we can retain that movie theater here.
And what plans or approaches do you have to do your best that make sure we retain that theater?
I'll share with you the same strategy we used to keep a business here or to retain any other business or the future businesses that are considering to come to our city. And that is extend our hand and say how valuable they are to our community, what they represent, and how it is that we can serve as a facilitator between two private parties to talk, reach an agreement, so we can have a community that's well served.
Okay. I'm just curious, if we voted no on this, what would be the repercussions?
We would, okay, so not this council, but the previous council went through a procurement process to select the company that we have right now. They were tasked, and Mr. Dell, you can correct me if I'm wrong, to assist the city in selling 3 RDA properties that were still pending to be sold. To this day, 2 have been sold, and there's 1 pending, which is the one on Scaroni Road. So with that said, I do want to say something. Given the dissolution of RDA, there's an oversight committee at the county level that at the end of the day has to ratify whatever action this board takes with regards to any RDA property. So once that happens, that gets reported to the Department of Finance in Sacramento. So we can inform them that we've honored the long-term property management plan that was approved by them. So in essence, we followed the instructions that they put in place. The previous city council, through a procurement process, hired a firm through a competitive process to provide these services to the city.
It was competitive.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And Mr. Mayor, I just want to maybe just also bring you some background of why the city would be selling the property. With the dissolution of redevelopment, all redevelopment properties, the city had to do an analysis legally whether or not they could retain them or whether or not by law they were supposed to sell them. Before my time, but I imagine the city did that analysis, and to the extent there was RDA properties that they could transfer to the city, school district, and other public agencies, they did that. There were some properties by law you just could not. So I'm thinking, I wasn't here, but that's what most agencies did. And I imagine this property, you couldn't make a determination that you could transfer it to the city. And because of that, that's why you ended up with a long-range property management plan with these type of properties, which didn't have a quote-unquote public use, you could not transfer for a nominal amount. And once you would list them in the long-range property management plan, and now, as Assistant City Manager commented, now we're just following that plan that for this property needs to be sold.
Okay. So, in essence, in many ways, we're bounded by the state and the conditions that are
Correct.
But that doesn't take away, and I want to clarify this, that doesn't take away from us as a local government to do our part to make sure that we can get private parties to understand the importance of retaining a particular business in the city.
Well, I want us to do our best on that. I don't know why.
Can you elaborate where the money's going to go to on the sale?
Yeah, I absolutely can. So the money will be split. There's a certain percentage. It goes by the sales tax percentage. A big portion would go to the school district. A big portion would go to the city of city of Calexico, and it would go split up as it is normally split up in our sales tax. We get probably around 18% or 20%. So we're looking at probably getting about $800,000 for the general fund. We'd probably want to put that away in our reserves if that happened. But I'd also like to add that this property is actually split up into 3 parcels. We had 4 offers already on the property. One was a full price cash offer. That offer was retracted. But that company that was going to come in was going to keep it as a movie theater. Not only that, they were going to improve the movie theater and potentially build a whole entertainment center around that movie theater where the parking lot is right now. So it could only possibly get better. We have no control what whoever buys it will do with it, but most likely it will continue as a movie theater because that's what it's built for. If they were going to change, if they're going to change it from a movie theater, it would take a lot of tenant improvements, big money. So most likely whoever buys it, whatever company buys it, will continue as a movie theater, and most likely they will invest additional resources into it to upgrade it.
Okay. All right. And any public comments on this item? No? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve number 14.
Is there a second?
So moved, second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Reluctantly. Okay, it passes unanimously. And have we come to the end of the road? Yes, we have. Any future agenda items?
I would like to get started on the retail cannabis, the 5 that we put it in. You can put it on the agenda for the next 2 weeks. The addition, the 5 addition. You have to, what is, we have to
expand?
expand it or?
Correct. And we're working on that. That item first needs to go to the planning commission.
I think
but
it's been approved by the planning commission. They approved like 50 spots. If we can surpass that and go straight to the council.
we would have to go back to the planning commission. That's the reason we couldn't bring that item at this council meeting, because that needed to go there first.
So is that in movement? Bringing it
Correct.
back to them?
If we didn't have to go to planning commission, that item would have been on the agenda, on this evening's agenda.
So it won't be on the future.
When do you plan on going to the planning?
We do have a date, I can't recall off the top of my head. It became a calendaring issue because we had to go first to the planning commission.
So the public notices for that were sent out today to the Calexico Chronicle. So it will take place on October 14th at 6:30 p.m. Per the recommendation of the Cannabis Subcommittee. So it is in process. We do have to go back to the Planning Commission. So it's going to be there for the 14th. And then we have to do another public notice for the City Council. So we have to give a 10-day public notice. So that if the earliest possible time frame that it could go to the City Council is November 6th, I believe. So
We miss it by one day.
yeah, we have to really stick to that 10-day
Okay.
public notice. I'm sure Mr. Campos can elaborate on that.
Okay. Councilman Pacheco?
No,
No.
nothing.
Councilwoman Fernandez? I have one. In the name of transparency, Mr. Horton indicated that, and we did not have the written findings from the last audit report. Could you please produce those and give them to us ahead of time before next council meeting, and then we can, during the council meeting, discuss the findings? Okay? All right?
That's the pun report?
Yes. The pun report. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. You've been a great audience. Went nice and smoothly. This meeting is adjourned.